It's time for the James Shields Update.
For our James Shields update, we turn to Joel Sherman, who has been busy scribing the details ever since this started getting kicked around with more seriousness this morning. Joel, good morning to you. This is the deal that a lot of people were speculating about. And as we've talked about on this very show, it seemed like the team that stepped up for the fourth year was going to be the team that landed him. It looks like that's what's happened in San Diego.
Yeah, it's kind of last team standing. It's almost like he showed up on the Padres' doorstep in some ways, because if you think about just the evolution of this process, they start off trying to get 5 years, over $100 million. Some teams said, who talked to him, maybe as much as $125 million. People thought that was always going to be unrealistic. Remember, John Lester got 6 at $155 million. Lester's looked at as an ace. He's 2 years younger than Shields. So the thought was always, if Lester gets 6, Shields probably tops out at 4, and he doesn't average 25. He averages 18 to 20, and that's where it seems this is now. 4 years with an option, 72 to 78, maybe 80 million, someplace in that range. It was completed overnight, and the Padres, who, by the way, gave up their fewest runs ever in a 162-game season for them last year, get another guy to put in that big ballpark in that rotation.
Amazing to a lot of us, Joel, that the Padres have been able to do this without getting rid of or otherwise moving the triumvirate that they think so highly about, that being Cashner, Ross, and Kennedy. So you've got those guys that all slipped down a spot in the rotation now. Add James Shields, plus the flyer they're taking on Josh Johnson, the flyer they're taking on Brandon Morrow. It's a pretty good-looking staff.
Yeah, I think we would probably agree that the best rotation in the National League belongs to the Nationals. Maybe the second best belongs with the Dodgers, specifically because of the strength at the top with Kershaw and Greinke. Then number 3 is going to be a race probably between the Padres, all the players you mentioned, the Mets, especially if Matt Harvey's healthy, and the Cardinals if Waka and Wainwright are healthy. So the Padres did that while their big goal this offseason, obviously they were hyper-aggressive early in the offseason trying to fix their offense.
Why such a good fit in San Diego? I mean, you could make a case anybody's a good fit there. You're on a roster where Buddy Black's the manager, Darren Balsley's the pitching coach, very highly thought of in the pitching community, that group, Pitcher's Ballpark. What else makes this a good fit?
Yeah, I kind of put 5 things together why it's a good fit. So first, I would say the Padres went looking for a starting pitcher late in this offseason, and they were on Cole Hamels. I would say the loser today is the Phillies, because a team that was perhaps trying to get Cole Hamels the most is probably now out on that. And remember, Hamels was going to cost more money than Shields. There's at least $96 million left for 4 years on that deal. Plus, it was going to cost big prospects. And with all the wheeling dealing that the Padres had done, they had kept their top 3 prospects, Renfroe, Whistler, and Hedges. So they get to keep those prospects for either themselves or a rainy day in June or July. So that's number 1. Number 2 for this is Shields has, in the last 7 years, played on a winning team in a small market, right? Either Tampa Bay or Kansas City. And suddenly the Padres have a lot of pressure that they win this year. They've blown their payroll up well over $100 million now. It's going to be the largest ever for this team. And they bring in a guy who's used to winning and used to being able to be a mentor to other players. So it's that. Number 3, I would say, lends to number 2. Once you push this much money into the middle of the poker table, you got to almost keep on going for it. And Shields, all things being equal, if he wasn't going to get the money, he wanted to play close to home. His offseason home is San Diego, so now it's his 12-month-a-year home. And so the Padres just decided to keep going for it. They're going to have to be able to pitch with the Dodgers, pitch with the Giants if they want to get to the top of this division. So they went ahead and did this. Number 4, it's a bit of a hedge against their future. While you like the rotation now, Ian Kennedy is a free agent at the end of this year. Andrew Cashner is a free agent at the end of the 2016 season. So you put a veteran piece in place for the longer term here. And number 5, while they've blown up their payroll up over 110, I think it's going to project to about 110, $115 million now, they have a ton of money coming off their roster over the next 2 off seasons. This one in, just check this out. After this season, Justin Upton, Ian Kennedy, Joaquin Benoit, Carlos Quentin, Corey Luebke, Will Venable, Sean Kelly, Brandon Morrow, Josh Johnson, they all can be free agents. So this is now a situation where they have a lot of money coming off. The following offseason, it's Cashner and Cameron Maben come off. So really, the bulk of their payroll going forward is now James Shields. And remember, the Dodgers are paying most of the freight this year on Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp only cost them $3 million this year. He goes to $18 million on their books from now on. So those two players are going to be $36 million moving forward. And so those are the guys they're going to have to build their payroll around moving forward.
Joel Sherman with some of the details as this is starting to trickle in now. James Shields reportedly signing with the San Diego Padres, a deal that was worked out overnight. Joel, thanks.